You are now entering Maximum Driftcast, the only drifting podcast hosted by a Spanish soccer mom, a 30-year-old silver-haired fox going on 60, and finally, a 200-pound bowl of spaghetti with chimichanga arms.
The champions, we are the champions.
And we're back for
another episode
of
Maximum Driftcast.
Paco, we were supposed to.
Did you guys plan that?
Yeah, we've been working on it since last round.
That's really good.
What did you think, Sam?
I give it 3 shining bass flutes to the sky.
Wow.
All shining bass. That's like the maximum trophy you could
throw a quick
ever aspire.
Yeah, throw a quick polish on that thing, and she'll be a little shiny flute.
Speaking of polish, we have a guest today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was nice, Sam.
That's what you call a segue.
Yep.
Well, only because Paco, I remember he was describing one of the drivers from Poland the other day as Polish instead of Polish.
It's spelled the same way. I don't get it.
I mean, Paco, learn the American language, pal.
It's Polish.
That's pretty close.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think the shoe polish needs to be pronounced the exact same way as the Polish descendants. And
anyways, we've been talking
fixed.
to every Polish drifter on our show that's in Formula Drift possible.
So-
We've been trying to just get every Paul we can on the show.
So
From
if we
Paul
had-
Walker to Paul
Senior from Orange County Bike
Paul
Builders.
Senior, Orange
Yep.
County. Yeah, so now we're going to get a new Paul, hopefully. He's been ducking and dodging us for a while. Apparently he doesn't have a phone. I've been having to talk to James Deane for a while to try to talk to him, and they've been partying in Vegas. They've been driving through the bayou in Florida, and they've been not wanting to be on the show. But you know what? Looks like you're in my lair now, dude. Looks like this little fishy's about to get hooked. If you know what I mean. Looks like this jet plane's about to land at the airstrip.
Oh.
What kind of airstrip is that?
It's like a runway that leads to pleasure.
Heaven.
The Pleasure Town.
Wow.
So, Paco, going back to polish and Polish. So, if you have a polished bass flute, is that a bass flute that originated from a country, or is it a shiny one?
It's a polished flute.
So,
Are you talking about like is it shiny
is
bass
it well,
flute
that's
because
the
it's
thing?
been,
Is
because
if
it's been polished?
Well, if it's the same word essentially, where it's a polished person or a polished bass flute, is that word used as where it came from?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah,
what's
it's exactly the same, and it'll make it a shiny bass flute for sure.
Gotcha. So it's a polished bass flute that's shiny.
So what have you guys been up to? What is new?
I've been doing some ice skating, doing some halftime shows without Corey. Just, hanging out.
You do have a nice skater figure for sure.
Thank you. Hold on, this freaking Paul is not answering his phone.
He did say he had to shotgun some beers before the show, so he's probably just hammering down right now.
Did you? So, how old do you think he is?
17.
21.
I think he's 35.
You think he's an old man, huh?
I don't know.
I mean,
dude.
old enough to party is my best guess.
Yeah. Well, 35 is at that age where you've probably done it all and probably things you shouldn't have. So he seems very experienced in that field.
Matt Field?
He was experienced in the map field. Yeah, he hasn't figured out. I think he's actually James Deane teaches him some drifting tricks, and he teaches him old man party tricks. And I think that's why they mesh so well.
Oh boy, here we go. Hold on, it's gonna work. I feel
Okay.
good. So we're all gonna be going to Formula Drift Atlanta in just a few days. This is very exciting. It's our favorite track. We are going to be doing some announcements at the tail end of the show, some fun contests and or giveaways we're going to be doing involving you guys, and that's kind of exciting. God damn it!
What are we doing at Formula Drift?
We're going to do an announcement at the end of the show with someone we're doing an involved giveaway / contest with, so I don't want to spoil that. But Corey, what was the Motegi Racing deal we got going on right now?
So outside of doing what we're going to be doing in Atlanta, which we'll talk about after we have the Polish sausage off the air, We will be doing the wheel giveaway that we originally announced a little bit ago, but we're actually going to bring that back. So we will be giving away a few sets of Motegi wheels over the next few episodes. And one of the best things that you guys can do right now, if you want to see what kind of wheels Motegi has, head over to their Instagram, Motegi Racing. We're actually doing a quick promo deal with Motegi where you can win a signed Frederick Osbo hat poster as well as a Driftcast hat and poster. And all you have to do is go in there, tag 3 friends, and you have a chance to win a limited edition poster and hat combination from Motegi Racing. But outside of that, all that is doing is preparing you guys to win a few sets of Motegi Racing wheels, which they are pretty awesome as they released quite a few new lines this year with their forged stuff and their cast stuff. So go over there, check out their page.
Yeah, actually, we saw you doing like a full explanation on what is force flow.
Yeah.
Hello.
Speaking of force flow.
There he is right there. What's going on there, Pete?
Oh, that's me. From my bachelor's party. That's awesome.
That was when you got. That's when you got the Oscar. Is that correct?
Yeah, a few of them. I don't even count.
What happened to your video though, Peter? We can't see. You got to click maybe to enable video on your end.
Oh, wait a second. I'm new at this. Telephone.
James Deane told me that you guys didn't have the internet in Poland. Is that true?
Yeah. It's not a lie. It's it's hard.
Oh, there it is.
He also told me that you didn't have a cell phone, but I know that that's a lie because I just called you on it to say, "Hey, answer your Skype." So, is everything that James Deane says a lie or no?
No, James never lies. James is always he's a trustful.
Does he likes big butts?
What big butts?
Yeah. He likes big butts. He cannot lie.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Welcome to America. Terrible jokes.
Yeah. I started getting there. Slowly, and I think I will understand everything.
Oh, everything, dude. I've been here for
in 3 years. Yeah.
I've been here for 12 years, and I still don't get half of the stuff these guys are talking about.
Yeah, I can understand.
And Peter has been here for less than 2 years, and he gets us completely right, Peter.
What? You know what? I have my friend's phone. He has the cool app named like Google Translate. No. So it might take a while. I will translate everything what you said, and I will then think about the reply. And, it would be a brilliant, I think, interview. Really, it would be a very rapid one and smart one.
I'm pretty sure that you're trolling us.
Never.
He doesn't lie either, Sam. I thought you figured that out already. He doesn't lie.
Okay, so the most pressing question before we get really deep into it, how do we pronounce your name?
Piotr Wiecek. Very easy.
No,
slow it down.
Piotr Wiecek. It's easier, I think, when I actually, make it quick. I think it will be. I think it will be easier if you record it on your phone and then play it. So whenever you have any questions, just play.
So this is what we're gonna do. You're gonna judge us right now. You're gonna be the pronunciation judge.
You're gonna be the Ryan Lontaine, the Andy Yen, and the Brian Eggert all at once. You're gonna be the what happens. No, let's picture that the 3 FD judges were to dock together. That's what is born.
I don't have a plate with numbers, so.
Okay,
I'm ready.
Okay, so we're going to take a whack at pronouncing your name, and you're going to judge us on a 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. We're going to have this is for the first, second, and third place. We usually don't have a battle for third place, but this round we will be. So, Paco, you want to go ahead and give it a whack first?
I'll go first.
Right.
Ready?
Yep.
Piotr Wiecek.
Ooh. That's pretty good.
Okay,
That's better than I thought.
It was solid. Yeah. My
good.
Can you sit? You can't probably, but it's 6.
It's a 6.
6?
Not a bad. I'm gonna write that down real quick so Paco gets a 6.
Okay, let's see. Sam, do your best.
6.
Peter Wiecek.
That's a 10. All right.
Wow.
That's competition
wow,
over.
Sam.
Where was it? Yeah, that's the
negative 10. Oh my God, he was ready with a scoreboard app. All right.
But actually, it was even a minus 15, but you won't get it. So
but what about my style points?
Ooh.
Style points. How many of them we can actually score in FD?
It's just
now?
one
Like
extra point.
47, I think you can give out for style this round.
47.
Yeah.
Up to a 69
Okay,
if you
okay.
can.
Yeah, I think like 6.
Not
6
bad.
would be
So
actually-
Sam's at a -4 still.
Okay,
which is
Corey,
not
let's
bad.
hear you.
All right. Peter Wiecek.
Ooh.
Oh, that was very J-Rod, I would say.
Oh.
But
See, what I did is I had to get a little couple.
I would say like it was like a solid.
7.
Oh my
Wow.
God! I just beat Paco by 1 point.
Hey, what about my style points?
Well, the thing was, I had to warm up. You know, I haven't spoke Polish in probably 8 years, so I had to get
I
the.
think we need a replay. I think we need a replay. in case
Go
the
back to
style
the
points
Okay,
replay.
here we go.
Let's see. Do you have your notes in hand?
Okay, I'm gonna pull back the replay real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
I'm ready.
Peter Wiecek.
That's good.
that was like a fast
Yeah.
forward replay.
Okay. I think we have some distraction online. Yeah, I didn't hear it simply. So
Okay.
let's move forward. Sorry, guys.
It sounded like he sneezed.
Well, that's what I was. Gesundheit. That's what I said. I actually said Gesundheit, Sam.
All right. Well, let's get down and dirty with Piotr about his roots, about the beginnings. Tell us about the day you were born. Let's go all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah, how did that feel? Do you remember?
How did that feel? What did that feel like for you?
Yeah, I always ask about it. My mom, how does it feel to actually? No, I didn't.
By the way,
But yeah. When I don't remember it, to be honest.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, so there are like two solutions. I was very young. Either I was, in the bad condition. So I don't know what was it, but I think I'm okay right now. Actually, you should ask James right now. So I think I was good condition. I have to be very young then. I have to be very young then.
how old are you now? Because we guessed at the top of the show when we were trying to call you, and I think Corey guessed 12, Paco guessed 17, and I guessed 45.
45. So Paco was closest one. Yeah. If I'm good at it.
15.
15.
Yeah.
But you,
So
but
you've been
don't you
dri-
have a wife and a child?
Yeah. He's 6 years old. So you can do
You
it
were
like
9.
when you're 11. So no, I was 11. It would be 11. No, it would be 9 actually. I'm very good at maths.
Yeah, but Polish years are kind of like dog years, I think.
Yeah, it's 7 for every one.
7 for everyone.
So he's 76.
And actually, this is exciting in that my background, I haven't done like a 23andMe yet, but according to my dad at least, I think I'm largely Polish by descent.
Wow.
So Peter and I, yeah.
Do you guys have a special greeting for each other for when two Polish men meet? Do you guys say anything to each other usually?
Well, usually,
Yeah. We said lots of things. It depends from the condition.
So
well,
that,
what do we say to each other, Piotr?
Cześć. Siemasz.
okay.
Jak się masz? There's lots of cheering.
What do you say back, Sam? I know you've been working on this for a little bit, but how would you fire back to that?
Grazie.
Ooh.
that's a perfect Brad Pitt impersonation.
Yeah, accent was very terrible, and the language was also bad.
Well,
Nice.
hopefully we can spend some time in your homeland, and you can teach me the ways of my people, our people.
Yeah, you are invited. Feel free. Yeah.
Sick.
Yes.
Before we get down to the early drifting days, we have a super question from YouTube. You guys can butt into the conversation almost as bad as I do, and ask questions if you do a super question on YouTube. This one's from SJM 9898. Does Peter remember all the drunken dancing at the club after Orlando?
I think it's some kind of like haters, because I have some, I have to admit, and they always telling me that I was drunk after each round.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
And
Yeah.
this is like a bad lie. This is really bad lie.
Yeah.
And I don't remember any of this, what they are saying about. So
Well,
I think
Big
they are
Dog-
all lies. They are simply all lies.
Lies.
Balls, can you go ahead and ban FJM 9898 for telling terrible lies?
Just
about Peter?
making all this.
Fake news.
Bam.
Fake news. All right, so let's talk about drifting. How did you hear about drifting? How did you first start drifting? What was the origin story?
Origin story. Yeah, I don't remember too well, but I remember the moments when I was driving like the really little car. It was like it should resemble the Porsche 911 from the very beginning, and it has like engine from the lawnmower, It was like 4 horsepower engine, which power actually was delivered only for one wheel. So I didn't knew actually which wheel was back then, but I remember that the car was possible to throw sideways. So this was my biggest like challenge for me to actually throw it sideways. So
How old
then
were you?
it starts. Then it starts for me. I was 4 years old. I was
Okay.
4 years old, and thanks to my dad, yeah, this was a good story. Then after that was quite a break. I have an ATV. I always, when I have the ATV, I love the going sideways with the thing. I always dreamed to be a rally driver because that was the only like the motorsport where I can see that somebody is going sideways. And after some time, I realized that there is some sport like drifting. But during that time, I have only access to a car which was named as a smart car. So it wasn't very smart at all, actually. And it doesn't want to go sideways too much. But I was doing my best to actually throw it sideways, especially when it was like snowy, when it was wet. It was good fun. I have also like one video, but I have to find it. I don't know where it is. My friend was recording when I go to the grass somewhere next to the house, and I try to make donuts because I saw that there is like a marks made by some kind of a really heavy truck. So the lawn was, in my opinion, destroyed back then. So I tried to make some 8 figures donuts, like anything, just to go sideways in a smart car. And then there is like the hilarious moment when my dad appears and like shout at me as hard as he can. And I was still like making donuts because I cannot hear him. Of course, I was on a full throttle in a smart car, so it was loud. And yeah, that the video was hilarious because my friend was just sitting there and laughing, like what happens next when my father appears to the side of the car. But everything ended up well. Then after a few years, yeah, I managed to go behind the wheel of 370Z. That was interesting because it was like 2009. Before then, I have like few small cars also, which I tried to drift, but it was like Fiat 126P. You can Google it. It's really interesting car. It's even better than the smart car. And then after that was the 370, and the 370 was like one of the first year when the car appeared. So it was like the demo car for the dealership, for a Nissan dealership. And they weren't very happy when I gave it back. But I also have a video for it. It's still on the YouTube. It's like when you type 370 at night, you'll also probably find it. It was my first drifting video.
Awesome.
Actually, apart from the one with the smart car. And after that was S14 proper with the SR20.
So hold on, let's hold on for a minute there. This 370, was that a street car or was that a purposely built drift car?
It was fully street car. It was a demo car for the dealership. It was one of the first Z's in Poland, actually. And I remember it was with a manual, and that was enough for me. So the clutch was gone after like 5th or 4th session in like 3 days. So yeah, but it was a good fun. After that, I realized that the car has like this electronical limited slip differential. So I was really annoyed when you pull the second gear. Sometimes it goes forward, sometimes it goes sideways. I didn't know what's going on, if it was my mistake or something. So yeah, it was good fun. I remember me with my friend, we was thinking to start to even record drifting. We were in the first round of Polish drifting championship, recording the thing. I remember also like I was ducking behind like the pile of haze, just thinking that I would be very safe out there. And it was like in the middle of the circuit, in the place where the guys are actually making a transition. And I was thinking that I was perfectly safe there. They are professionals, behind the wheel. And now when I think about it from the perspective that I'm still driving, it wasn't safe. But the Z, that's the story with the Z. And after that, I have to say my dad, I have like a good argument with my dad because he wasn't happy after what happened with the Z. So I started to argue with him that, I really would like to race. I really would like to race. And for me, it was back then more obvious that I should explain it as a racing, not as a sport when you shred the tires.
Right.
So I thought that my father would understand it better. But by after some time, he came up onto my first drift competition, and he was really delighted. So from that moment, my father is not almost, on each and every round, if not personally, then always in front of the computer and watching the live stream, and everything was connected with me and drifting.
And I also understand that your dad had some racing heritage too, right? It runs in your family.
My dad doesn't have any racing heritage, to be honest. He was growing up in a small village, and always the goal for him was to actually get out from this village and make something which will help his family to live better than he was living. So he definitely accomplished that. I'm very thankful for him for doing it. And
he made you.
But he was always in the cars. He was always in the cars, and whenever he has his first money earned, he has to buy a car. And maybe I have some kind of a heritage for a JDM, because his first, the proper car, back in the 90s, was 3000 GT. So back then it was a serious stuff. And I don't even remember the car. I only have a few photos standing next to it. But always when there was the opportunity to drive the cool cars, my dad was first.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I'm talking a bit too much. Then
no, it's perfect. That's
I got it, because this would take for 3 hours probably.
No, it's perfect. Corey, Paco, you guys there?
Yes.
All right, heard some weird Skype noises.
I'm
Oh,
tearing.
yeah, they're waking up. Okay.
All right, some Skype noises. Just want to make sure we didn't lose you. So you then mentioned you had a S14 with a SR20? Cool.
Exactly.
That was your first official drift car?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was my first official drift car. The chassis is still with me. It's my training car. I'm not sure if I should mention how it's named, but James actually invited this name, so it will be his fault. It's called the Dirty Slut.
Oh, James! No.
Oh God, that guy. He does have a potty mouth. James has a potty mouth.
Yeah, he's dirty.
That poor guy. And so you drove the 370Z. Was that the car that kind of set the hook for you to want to advance in your drifting career? Obviously, you had quite a few other cars prior to that you were sliding around, but was it the Z that said, you know what, maybe we should start looking in other platforms? And then what made you choose the S14 SR setup?
To be honest, when I was looking for a drift car, it was one of the most prepared one which I can find back then when I was checking simply a Polish eBay. So I checked for the drift cars, and it was only 3 of them. It was the S14, the really nice modified E30, but it was more like a show car, and then a proper drift car, and some kind of a rusty S13. So I decided, there's this a nice build car. I see that the engine is properly made, and it has 380 horsepower. So it was really a lot for those times, and that was a decision simply.
So when you ended up purchasing that, was that your first car that you used in competition?
Yeah, exactly. It was my first car during the competition. It was my first competition was in this car. Yeah.
What series were you running in at that time?
It was a Drift Open series. It's still present in Poland. It's the series open to all the drivers who are new with drifting and would like to compare their strengths against other competitors. And you can advance thanks to the series to the semi-pro league in Drift Open, and then you can advance also if you manage to win the championship to the European leagues also.
So at this point, did you kind of figure out where you wanted to go with your drifting career, or were you kind of just at the point where it's this is fun. I just want to do it to go out there and compete. Did you ever at this point plan of saying, man, I want to go be a championship contender in FD, or was it just something you planned on doing initially as like a hobby or just for fun?
Yeah. That was always the question, to be honest, for me, in my case at least. That was always the question: should I go like really professionally with this, or having fun simply? Because the moment when you stop having fun, it's like, what's the point? Of course, if you have any plans connected with it, I fully agree that you should do it. But for me, it was always the issue: do I have fun? Do I enjoy it, or no? So I said to myself, I was talking with my father also a bit about it, that I want to do it professionally. I want to give my best and always try to reach as high as it's currently possible for myself. So yeah, I would say pretty much from the next year, it was 2011. Yeah, from 2011, we decided that we are making it fully as professionally as we can.
And at
Awesome. And how old were you at that point, out of curiosity?
2010, I was 20.
Okay.
So 2011, I was 21. Yeah.
So you're 28 now. We figured it out. Ish.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. It was a tricky question. You see? Oh, never again. Don't do it ever again to me.
Sorry, I didn't mean to trick you.
No way. Nobody.
So you
like a
you then
weasel.
started competing and drifting in, what did you call your S14 again? If you would so kindly tell all of our young viewers.
It's a dirty stuff.
Okay, you sneeze, dirty sneeze. Got you.
Yeah, Dirty Sneezer.
Dirty Sneezer. So did you have success in the Dirty Sneezer? Is that how you built your reputation and name and your skills, or did you where'd you go from there?
Actually, it's a funny story because James has better success in this car than me, because
Okay.
after some time I need to change the chassis for the like more restrained one. Then the Skyline appears also after some time, and because the car was still present, car was still like capable of running. On some events we like have a James as a guest in Poland. So
Yeah.
James took my car, this S14, the old S14, let's say, and he just managed to be on the really great spot in this vehicle. So I think my best was top 8 in this chassis, and if I remember, James was like even in top 4.
Wow.
With this car. So yeah, it doesn't matter what you bring to James, he will always make it a
Right.
Yeah, well, we know James is always kind of cleaning up the sloppy seconds with the dirty sluts. So it's we kind of expect that out of him.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was enjoying it. Yeah.
So let's take a minute and talk about your relationship with James. Obviously, he's been a mentor or a friend or whatever you want to call it to you in the sport. How did you first meet and get in touch with James, and tell me about your history and how he became your partner in crime today, and how you guys became arguably the best drivers in FD right now?
That's thank you for that, but we will see. That's a challenge. But with James, we like met for the first time, I think, in 2012. But then I didn't even know that he is him. So I just show him a track, show them around the stadium in Płock, from where the event was like held back then.
Mm-hmm.
But for the first time, I was introduced to him in 2014. I was watching how he's driving, and it was incredible. It was like I couldn't believe. I remember I was standing then with my teammate David Karkosik, and we was watching him and saying like, this is impossible what he is doing simply. Then we meet him, we take him for like a tour around London. I think it was a tour, and we ended up to being really good friends. We spent much time with each other. We just saw that we like to have, let's say, fun in a similar way. And yeah, we're just having a good time together, and that's how it all starts, I would say.
And when you say fun in a good way, you mean like, killing prostitutes, running over kids with cars, just whatever you do in Poland for fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Cool. So it's funny because James, when he was trying to protect you from our show, he was like, Peter doesn't speak very good English, and then Peter doesn't have a cell phone, and then he's like, oh yeah, Peter won't really understand what you're saying. So
Yeah.
I think it's actually the opposite of what you've said, and James Deane is actually full of shit, if I had to guess.
No, I wouldn't say that. He is just a good friend. He tried to protect me,
And
He's
also,
like-
hold on, let me read this text. Yeah,
Oh,
speaking
no.
of a good friend trying to protect you, he told me today, he said, be nice to him. He is a delicate young boy.
You see, he's always like that. Whenever we appear somewhere, he's always saying the same sentence. Like,
Yeah.
but at least the guys and everybody are nice to me, thanks to him.
So I have a billion questions to ask about your current S15s, but let's get there in the order of cars. So your Dirty Sled S14, where did that take you? And do you have cars between that and where you are now, or did you just jump straight from that into the crazy S15?
Yeah, from this car I jumped to like another S14, but with a 2J. So it was my first car with a 2J, and it was like night and day. I don't know what I mean.
Paco,
But,
can you
yeah.
clarify that one?
Okay, if I can what, Sam?
Translate what he said. He said
Can you
night and
translate
days.
that? A night and date? Is
So
that
what does
correct?
that mean?
It means like one thing totally different than the other.
Okay.
It's barely
Okay.
opposite. Is that
Night and date. You
Night
heard it
and
here
day.
first. All right, you're clear, Peter. That was perfect.
Okay, but one day different. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. And exactly, and it was brilliant simply back then. I fell in love with the 2J, and I get some hate also because of that, because everybody are simply abusing 2Js. Everybody are in the 2Js, and I was also thinking, should I stick with the 2J or not? And then after a year, I bring like the Nissan Skyline R34 with the RB26. So
Awesome.
it was like a lovely machine. It was like a purist car, purist engine, purist chassis, and it was very bad.
Very
So
bad.
The engine was constantly broken. Like whenever we try to do it, the thing don't want to cooperate. Maybe it was because we want to produce too much power. Maybe because I was abusing, I think, a bit too much. But in the end, we came back to the 2J, and 2J still want to cooperate with me. So now I still have like the R34, but with the 2J, and the thing is lovely. I love the car. It's great for like making a good solo run and covering the track through the zones. It's very comfortable to drive. Maybe it's a bit hard while chasing, but it's still possible. It's enjoyable. I love this vehicle.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you stayed away, or I guess you were scared away from the Nissan RB motors. Forsberg still thinks that he can build one of those well someday in a good car, but I feel like it's so common for everyone to throw 2Js in their Nissan. You don't believe in the RB motor series, really?
I believe in RB, but there is boundary. Let's say there is an edge, which after
Yeah.
if you cross it, I think the engine is not capable of, especially during the drifting. In the drifting, I don't know if it's about the heat exchange or the like construction of the head. It's something is not right with this engine in case of drifting, because for drag racing it's really brilliant. I heard the stories about really like powerful engines and which are capable of doing really good runs and really good times, but in case of drifting I'm not sure. Simply.
Yeah.
I just want to have something which will work, and maybe I kind of treat it as a tool, more as a show thing than. So I prefer to have something which will work than something what will look cool.
Well, Skyline definitely looked cool. I'm looking at pictures of you now, and big balls if you are able to pull up any of those. Or I'm sorry, I haven't been paying attention if you have been. But it looks like there's some photos of you with some trophies with the Skyline though. So I mean, You obviously did.
Yeah.
You did succeed in the Skyline to some degree.
Yeah. It was actually in this vehicle I have my first ever victory in 2014. I didn't believe in it. We just put some new tweaks into the car, and on the first appearance of the vehicle during the first round of the season, I managed to win it. Then after, it was a great season for me, like 2014. So, Goodwood. And the 2014 was really good year. Something clicks, and from that moment, I really start to enjoy drifting on a different level, let's say.
There's an article from Plock magazine that I had to translate, and then it starts out with, "He started with the car with the mower engine. Now he is starting to conquer the USA."
Yeah.
Well, we've seen what he's capable to.
And
What is?
I don't.
What's that?
Oh, we've seen what you're capable with a car with a lawnmower engine.
Yeah, he
So
won
you-
Long Beach.
No, well,
Lawnmower Beach, Corey.
Oh,
no, but we saw you drifting that mini truck a couple days ago.
No, you didn't. That was unofficial. You didn't.
I feel like
That was your
that
stunt
they're-
double.
You have a stunt double, right? You have someone that performs all your dancing at the club and performs all of your stunts in the parking lots. That's someone else, right?
Yeah, but I think I don't know even the person. No, that's definitely somebody else.
That's
Definitely.
Evan Peters, the Hollywood one.
Yeah, it's probably exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. And they always confuse us. He's a crazy fellow. I don't like him too much.
did you take your R34 up to Goodwood?
No.
I'm going through
Is
some
that a
pictures.
Question.
No,
Next,
No,
wait, did he? Or I see a
Yeah.
photo. It looks like an S14 at Goodwood. Is that different?
no, I'm seeing
No, it was a Skyline. But I think the James will tell you.
Oh
the
wait, no,
story.
there it is. No, I see a photo right
Yeah.
here. So it looks like GTT R34 Skyline at Goodwood, 2015.
Yeah,
Corey, why
that
do you
video
ask?
is brilliant. That video is actually very good. Somebody edit in a really good way. Oh, that picture is better.
the technology
did
these
someone-
days.
Did those bad internet trolls do something else mean to you?
yeah, exactly. It's a Photoshop picture. Like how I could ended up in a grass.
That
with
was
my back wheels.
that was a very good Photoshop edit of you drinking something right now too.
Well, do you know what I realized is I'm reading
Really?
the comments. I'm reading the comments of you in the grass, and it says during your run at Goodwood, Peter remembers the lawnmower engine. So that's
that's very on point. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
very,
that's-
very good point.
yeah, that was a great article.
So anything between your Skyline and your now Formula Drift S15s, or is that kind of your sums up your drift car history?
I can add one more point to that story. It was like a 370, back to the 370 chassis.
Yeah.
But I was unlucky with the engines. We want to build a 370. We actually did it. It was a great car to drive, but we have constant issue with the engine because the engine was American. And I really love the sound. Let's say I really love everything about it, but somehow I don't know. Like I feel like American builders don't like Poland as a country because my friend also ordered the engine, and the engine actually fall apart in a dyno. Well, his first run on a dyno, simply they discover after that the caps weren't screwed in. So I don't have anything against the American V8s. I love the sound, I love the engines, but we were simply unlucky with them. And after spending really significant amount on the builds to build the car, we are right now hanged up a bit, and we still don't know what to do with the things. Maybe 2J, who knows? But I would like to stay with the V8, to be honest.
What engine is that?
It's 7-liter LS. I think it's LSX definitely, and it was modified heavily. The heads are purely made only for these cars, and they were a bit too weak. We have some issues with the push rods. We have some issues with the valves, and too many issues simply.
Yeah. All right. So the year is now 2016-ish, I imagine, and you and your partner in crime, James, decide that it's time to build some badass cars and invade the U.S. and kick everyone's asses. What spurred that decision, and why did you choose the S15s?
That's actually a bit longer story, because at first we were thinking that we will be our initial plans will be like, okay, let's go to States, let's go to FD, but with the 370s. We want to bring two 370s, but I think James really liked the car. I think that the 370 is the car which really suits him. But apparently I thought that, let's bring the S15s and let's like an S chassis, because we were always comfortable with them. And that was simply after a few testing, we decided that the S chassis will be something which we are both more comfortable in.
Yeah.
And and we are very happy about the decision. I'm constantly repeating to James that it's very good that we choose S chassis, not the 37.
That you were right and he was wrong. I know someone that drives a Z chassis, and as he was watching you compete during the Motegi Super Drifts at Long Beach and win both days, he may have commented that, damn, he wishes that he could drive one of those cars. Because, there's the benefit of driving a 370Z in that it's a new car that Nissan still sells, so it's nice to have that factory, bond. But the S15s seem to kind of move in a way on the track and rotate in such a way that I've never seen any other car do. It does kind of seem like the best car ever made for drifting.
This year car is really, really nice to drive. We have a new suspension in the front, and developed from Weissfab with the cooperation of JD130. And he made a really good job, I think, developing this kit. It's brilliant thing. The car drives really well, and I'm really happy about in general with the whole chassis. I don't know what happened in Motegi. It was I for a second there I was really exhausted. I thought that no, today it won't happen. I have enough. It was really a lot, especially there was only like three of us, and me, James, and Michael, our spotter. And the guys, James and Michael, did a brilliant job of like preparing everything, and that everything was on time. It was I was really, really positively surprised that they handled everything so well. It was a great fun. Simply, it was a fun event.
Yeah.
We were chilling out, and suddenly something happened, and we managed to have a great result. So we'll definitely remember that I definitely will remember that for the rest of my life. It was a great story for me, because particularly only for this event my wife and my son showed on. So it was a great pleasure for me to just manage to win the event on which they were present, and that was great for me.
Yeah, it's such a crazy story, and you didn't somehow accidentally win. You drove better than I've ever even seen James Deane drive at that event. So he kind of set the bar for how someone's supposed to drive at that event, and you were on fire, man. Your runs were the most insane things I've ever seen. Like, you just hit every point, and your car transitions so quickly. So yeah, congratulations. That was quite an accomplishment to do as well as you did. I think what happened at Long Beach, you only got knocked out. I forget. You got knocked out by Osbo?
Yeah.
What happened at Long Beach? Yeah.
It was a battle with Frederick, and I think I just went a bit too hard. I learned my lesson after that. The last hairpin is actually a really tight turn, and you should brake a bit more in this moment. But it was close. I know that he's a great driver, and when he will be chasing me, he will push 100%. And I have to do also the same thing to be as close as him as possible. And I try my best. I push a bit too hard, and that's how it ends. But I'm still like really happy about the run, because For me, it's like two types, or maybe even three types of losing. When you're losing because somebody was better, when you're losing because you make a mistake or when you losing because you are pushing too hard, and like two of them are really, let's say, not as sad as making a mistake by your own. When you're losing because making a mistake, you're always like pissed off only about yourself, that you just shouldn't do it. But when you are pushing too hard, it's just some kind of a satisfaction that you don't give up, and you just try to do your best.
It's fun to actually see. It sounds weird. It's fun to see you make a mistake because, like, compared to Deane, I think that Deane we almost never see make a mistake. But also, I'd say his driving just has a little bit less like aggressiveness or passion as yours do. So you guys look very similar on the track, but I feel like James is a little more robotic, and you're a little bit more like crazy, aggressive, passionate, weird driver. So it's good to see you actually make a mistake though, and it doesn't happen often.
I would call it that James is already adult, and I'm still a bit of a child. I always forgetting I'm sometimes forgetting to just lift off the throttle for a second would be better, but yeah, it always happens because I still stay on the throttle for a bit too long. But yeah, I enjoy it. I'm regretting it after always, but still, I don't want to change it. I don't know why. I simply like to drive that way, and if the car will stay in one piece, I will still do it.
Yeah.
So-
And what? Let's talk about Orlando. Forsberg. Sorry, go ahead.
Before
Yeah, go
we
ahead.
do that, we have a quick question from the super chat on YouTube from Chris Nelson. What is your favorite track in FD?
My favorite track in FD, I would say now it's Long Beach, but before it was like, even before the whole season, before 2017, I choose Irwindale as my favorite track because it was like full throttle, and there was like only small section when you have to lift off and then you come back on the throttle and stay there for the end of the track. And for me, it was back then it was favorite track, and it happens to be the first track on which I managed to win my FD event. So this was definitely unforgettable story for me. And but now, I would say Irwindale will be definitely a challenge again, but. I would count it. Yeah, I would bet Long Beach. Yeah, Long Beach is my favorite right now.
Yeah, and that was, let's talk about that for a second. Last year, 2017, Irwindale. That's like when we finally got to see you come into your own, and you won that event in front of 50 or so screaming Irish and Polish friends and family of yours, which was definitely exciting to see. It was a really enjoyable event just because we got to see the James Deane overall victory and your first round win.
Yeah, this event was more. If you like create a story about the perfect event, I would say that it wouldn't be as perfect as this one, because this weekend was full of emotions. It was like the qualification for James was like a championship scoring qualification. It's meant for him, like if he'll qualify well. He will knew that, not maybe knew, but he will be very close to having a championship.
Right.
Then when he made his buy run, like Saturday, he made his buy run. We knew that he has a championship. After that, we have a break because always between like top 32 and top 16 there is a break. During that break, we start to celebrate James Deane's birthday because they were in the same day. Yeah. So it was a perfect gift for him, definitely. And after that, we were still in a great mood. James was first knocked out by Audi, so again, like elevation of emotions, everybody tried best to pick the car back in one piece, and the guys made it. So James was on third place. I managed to win the event after like really intense battles. So this was like a really, for me, it was like a dream come true watching James on the top spot of the championship, and me finally on a podium, and even though in the first place. So amazing. It's hard to me to speak, because sometimes I'm maybe not too emotional, but definitely it's hard to gather all of it in one piece to just sum it up.
So
Yeah,
I want to
awesome.
kind of go back, Sam. I want to follow up with that
Yeah,
because in 2017, that was obviously your rookie year in Formula Drift, which you won the Rookie of the Year that year, and you finished 8th in points your first year, which is obviously super impressive. And the thing is watching you from Long Beach last year all the way up, progressing to your first win at Irwindale. What have you been changing in yourself or your driving to allow you to grow at such a rapid rate? Obviously you're starting off this year on the same foot you left last year off, but what are you kind of doing behind the scenes to allow you to keep growing at this rate? It's awesome.
Yeah, it was hard for me. Definitely, beginning was a bit hard because I see that everybody are already like either comfortable on the track, or either feeling comfortable around the let's say simply an environment, like in general, in like FD grid, like everybody know each other, and I was the one which tried to figure out where I should be. And the first few events were hard for me. You are just always dreaming. Whenever you start drifting, you're always dreaming about coming to FD. And suddenly you are sitting in a grid, and in front of you there is somewhere there is Asbo, here's Chris Forsberg, here's Van Gittin, and it starts to be a bit, maybe you don't want to admit it, but you start to be a bit overwhelmed by the whole situation.
Yeah.
And I definitely have a goal in my mind through the first season that the first run during the qualification was just the run during which I want to have a score, just to make sure that I'm in top 32. And the second run was the one which I try to score as high as I can. And after some time, I started to be a bit more comfortable. But after getting comfortable on the track, I start to realize that some things in a car are not as good as they should be. I think pretty much it could be, I think, the normal thing for the new car, when you start to realize that something should be changed, something could be upgraded. But in general, car was really nice because James has the same car and he managed to do crazy stuff in it. But I think that the most thing was staying in my head somewhere during the first few rounds, and during the time I started to feel more and more comfortable with the everything connected with the FD whole environment. Everybody started to realize that the guys here are also humans, and you can beat them, and they also make mistakes as everybody, apart from James because he's weird. And it's you saw that it's possible to climb on top.
Yeah, well, it's like you say, it's not, as a rookie you come in and you are dazzled by the big names if you've been following drifting and care about drifting. So that's exciting though that you get to see and meet Osbo and Vaughn and Forsberg, and then you get to beat all of them. Which I don't know if you've actually beat all of them yet, but I mean it's pretty crazy. That's not something most rookies can say. I forget your exact record last year, but I imagine that you have beaten or will beat those guys all soon in some degree or another.
I would definitely like to have a battle with everybody on the grid just to know the guys, how are they driving, how they react on the track. But so far it's going really well. I was competing with Asbo so far, with Forsberg, probably not with Van. I was going against Turk. I was going against Honedel, against Justin, Polak, JTP.
Who's been your favorite battle so far?
My favorite battle so far? I would say one with Asbo on the last round and in Long Beach. But I also really enjoyed the one in Irwindale. So now we just have let's say we are even. That's
Yeah.
what I was looking for.
There you
So the next round maybe will show. But yeah, it's a good fun. It's definitely now I'm trying to put as good show as I can, and I'm not trying to push too hard. I'm just trying to go as comfortable as I can. But somehow it works, and I hope that I will be capable of keeping it that way.
Well,
Yeah.
we do our best to keep up with you on your social media, on your Instagram, and things like that. But after
Do you manage to keep up?
it's tough, man. You do so much, and I just don't know where to start with the questioning. But after Formula Drift last year, you kind of vanish and then you reappear in Long Beach. What do you do? Any type of driving during that off season, or what do you do when you're not now competing in Formula Drift? Because, like I said, you come back, you win in Irwindale, and then you're gone, and then you show up and you perform extremely well in Long Beach. What are you doing during that off season, and are you driving a lot when you're not in FD?
I'm trying. I'm definitely trying to make some practice session, but it's hard, to be honest, because I have a good friend of mine, David Karkosi, who always is, like, let's say, capable of bringing his car and trashing with my S14, but it's not easy because the cars are pretty, let's say, beaten up, and it's very hard to make them like work well always. So it looks like we are making everything prepared. We are just bringing ourselves, bringing the car, bringing some extra force to help us, and then after 1 hour something breaks in a car. So that's how the off season looks for me. We have like a few sessions, I think like 3 or 4 of them, during which we try to practice with each other, but yeah, they all end up after like 1 hour or so. Yeah, I was practicing. I'm happy about it because I knew that I still remember how to put the car sideways, and that was the good information for me before the season. And yeah, I always like to use practice session as much as I can, but yeah, it's hard because from the one hand, you don't want to risk your main car to make anything bad with it before the competition, and from the other hand, it's a good way to just practice in the best conditions as you can, because you have the same tires, you have the same setup and everything. Because always in the, let's say, training practice car, there will be some difference. There will be difference in the gearbox, there will be difference in suspension, and lots of other stuff. So yeah, I think practice is important for me, but somehow I managed to drive not bad, even with a not decent amount, let's say, of sessions.
Speaking of your driving, Brian and I were talking about. I think it was last night. We're talking about his style of analyzing the drivers and like understanding. Well, what was exactly what you were mentioning, Brian?
I was watching the Orlando run, Peter, and watching how you chase, and I noticed that through that transition, that long transition straight into the outer zone 1, past was it inside clip 1 to outer zone 1, you had what looked like a technique where you were actually launching the car, even though the lead car was decelerating. You were kind of more of an outside, and you were accelerating. So by the time the lead car got back into the gas, you were pretty much already matching their speed before they got to it, is what it looked like to me. Like you had some kind of like maybe like a type of strategy you picked up going around that corner to be able to maintain such a extreme close proximity through the last half of the course.
Yeah, I was trying to do my best, but this occurs like the most comfortable situation to me, because this transition is really hard. You cannot see where is the clipping point, and you have to be where is the second clipping point after the transition, and you have to be as close to that thing without knocking it out and without pushing your opponent. So I figured out that this is the most comfortable like solution for me, and it worked out till the time when I met Forsberg,
Yeah.
And his car was really, and he was simply really good at this event.
Yeah.
And this was amazing to watch how well he actually performed.
It's just an awesome technique to watch. Just watching how you perform that slingshot around there. It was just really admired how you were able to pull that off.
Thank you.
So talking.
He's getting all. He's
crying right now.
Emotional.
So talking about that Forsberg battle, as I tried to bring it up earlier, because it was very surprising to watch, because we've never seen, and this is a good thing. I don't mean this in a bad way at all. We've never seen you get beaten like that before. And in full disclosure, if you were to watch Paco and Mai's halftime show that Corey didn't care about enough, that's not true. But I had predicted that you were going to win the event. And that says a lot, because Forsberg was like my first friend in Formula Drift, and he's my bud. And I predicted that you were going to beat him because you were so well put together. But I was just rewatching that battle, and what happened in your chase run there?
So I assume that we are friends right now, yeah? Or no?
You and me?
Yeah.
We're best friends. You're my new best friend. We're both Polish brothers, my friend. We gotta. Hey, Paco and Corey, can you take off your headphones real quick?
Well, no, isn't it Polish brothers that are born together, dock together?
Paco and Corey, can you take off your headphones real quick?
Sure.
I won't watch, but I'll believe when you say they're off.
Yeah, they're off right now, Sam.
We're not
All
listening.
right, cool. All right, Peter. Fuck these guys. They're the worst podcast hosts ever. I say you and me, we start an all Polish drift fan podcast. You know, you're a Polish drifter. I'm a Polish drift commentator. Let's just hang out and talk about drifting, and maybe even, I don't know. You got any friends that can like get rid of Paco and Corey for me?
Pewnie, jak najbardziej. Zróbmy to, wydaje mi się, że to będzie naprawdę fajnie, nie obrażą się.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Paco and Corey, you can come back.
All right, perfect. We're back. We didn't even know. We just came back. At that time, we didn't know you asked us to come back. So
Yeah, it's so cool. So don't listen to this episode. It's whatever. Just Peter and I had to talk about some Polish stuff. You wouldn't understand.
No. I actually, to be honest with you, Sam, I came back 2 seconds earlier when Peter was speaking in Polish and said he wants to choke you with a sausage. So
No. He said that we can choke each other with each other's sausages.
Oh yeah. See, I picked up the last half. I didn't get that, but
It's kind of like a Polish greeting. It's like saying like, "How do you do?" It's
yeah. So I hope you guys had a good chat.
Yeah.
So
anyways,
it was brilliant. It was. I think it was a deal. Like, yeah. It was
Now that
pretty much deal.
Now that we've done the customary Polish best friend speech, and now you don't even need to doubt that we're best friends. Yeah, what happened with the Forsberg run?
What happened with the Forsberg run? Yeah. So I have an excuse, at least.
Okay.
After when we finished the first run, I was straightening the car, like, I don't know, 10 meters after the finish line. It might be a bit too early for the chase car, and because I need to save my tires for the chase run. So I decided to straight it a bit earlier, not in front of the finish line, but we might say straight after the finish line. Right. And then, because Forsberg was really close to me, he hit me with his front wheel into my back wheel. I thought that everything feels right with the car, so I put my car on the chase position. He was leading, and he launched his car so quickly that when I put the second gear, my wheel starts to spin, and I wasn't expecting that, to be honest, that they will be spinning quite that early.
Yeah.
And when on the first bank, I tried to catch him. When I was close to him, it was already a moment to start to brake. I brake a little bit too late, and that was done for me. After that, in the workshop, we noticed that the rear hub after the contact was bended a bit, so the car was left wheel was towed out. So probably that's what caused the extra lack of grip during the acceleration. But this is my excuse, and I hope that everybody understand and agree with me, and now everybody will support me and cheer me up, Peter, you're doing great. You couldn't do anything.
Well, that's why we have.
we always knew Forsberg was really tricky. It was a really tricky cheater like that. So he obviously bumped into you on purpose after the line to bend your hub, and then convinced you with his telepathic waves to not call 5 or not to point out that the hub was bent. So yeah, good move, Forsberg. Yeah, that's kind of shitty. I didn't know that. That had caused damage.
No. It wasn't his mistake. I would say that this was my mistake. I caused it by myself. So everything. I should call like 5 minutes probably after that. But this is the past, and now we can.
Yeah.
Now we have to prepare for Atlanta.
I'm just glad you read the script and you're following it, page by page.
Right. So you read the script for who was supposed to win that Formula Drift event, and thankfully when the judges and Ryan and Jim write the script for Formula Drift and says, Peter's got to go out in the final four, you're like, all right, fine. We just like that you're a team player.
Yeah, I don't know anything about any script. Don't get any money for that, so I don't know what we are talking about.
Perfect. That is exactly what it says. You should say in the script.
Yep.
Wink, wink.
So what? And then we haven't talked to Deane, of course. But what happened with Deane in the finals against Forsberg? I had heard that his power steering went out.
Yeah.
And what is?
Forsberg, yeah.
So what is that? Because I feel like when your power steering goes out, like on your street car, it doesn't cause you to fly into a wall. But I imagine when you're like at lock drifting and suddenly it just locks up and tightens and you just hit a wall. Is that what happens?
It's easy to say after the battles to describe what happens, because when you are in particular moment, especially when you are chasing, you are aiming yourself more about the competitor than thinking about how to drive the car. When you are sitting in a position when something goes wrong and you are still like aiming for your opponent, you don't think how to avoid the unavoidable, let's say. You still have your mind on your opponent, and I fully understand that this could definitely cause what happened, because in that situation you are not thinking to let's say go what to do next, to just go behind him. You it's hard to explain, especially.
No, we got it. We know how fast the sport is now. Like, especially even in the past 2 or 3 years, it's happened this way, where it used to be that there was a very obvious mistake in every run, and that person lost. But now the runs have gotten so tight and so insane that oftentimes there's no mistakes by either driver, and then sometimes that it's just such a fast run, and you're so tight on the other driver that, like in your situation chasing Forsberg, like you spent just a tenth of a second too long on that outer bank number one, and that just put you 5 car lengths behind, and you got lost in the smoke, and then that was that. Like, we know how fast everything happens on the track now. So
exactly. It's so easy to analyze the replays. Like right. He should like stay on the handbrake for 1/10 of a second more, or he should be on the throttle for 1/10 of a second earlier. But when it happens inside the car, it's not. You are not thinking even. You are just doing what you feel to do. And well, that's it.
That's the other thing too. Is when you go into a corner like that, you don't necessarily prepare for something to happen. So when it does happen, you're already focusing on 4 other things at that time to get through that run to win. That dealing with the mechanical is putting you already 4/10 behind. Which at this point you're already on the wall. So if something happens other than your original game plan, it usually doesn't work out that well. But
you definitely throw out of focus. When something goes wrong, and especially in drifting, it's a short course. You can visualize, you can plan pretty much everything in your head. You can admit that or like prepare that some small mistakes might happen. But when something big is happening, you are just starting to play the game from the beginning. You are not like in the same place as you were in the starting line. You are starting the run from the beginning, and that's at least how it works in my case. And it's really, you really need to be very experienced driver to be back in your comfortable zone after something like that happened.
Well, we don't want to tell you this because James told us not to tell you this, because he called us before that Forsberg run. He called us for some advice, and I don't know if you know that, but he calls us all the time and texts Sam for, hey, we're going up against Vaughn, or what should I do? And he called us, and he was like, hey guys, it's James, and we're like, oh, hey James, what's going on? He goes,
No, first he said top of the morning to you.
top of the morning. And he has a very strong American accent. I don't know
Yeah.
if he does the Irish thing just on camera. But he's like, hey,
Right.
hey, brothers.
Hey, brother, top of the mornings to you.
Top of the morning. It's me, James Dinger. So I don't know if you saw what Forsberg did to my little boy, Peter. But I didn't appreciate that. And we said, oh, dude, we saw that. And it wasn't cool, right?
Yeah,
So he goes,
That's pure James. You know?
yeah. So he goes, what should I do? And we said, what do you want to do? He's like, I want to take him out. So we said, if that's what you need to do, go for it.
Sweet delay.
So anyways, what happened? He ended up missing him. He tried hitting him into a wall and missed him barely. So
Yeah.
we tried helping you, man. We as a team, we came together to try to protect you as one of ours.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So tell us about your brief story as a WWE wrestler, Peter.
Well, hold on. I want to go back a little bit. Obviously, we talked about, and I know we're preparing for
Real
Atlanta.
quick, sorry,
Yeah, go
no, we have to stop. We had a YouTube power question from Chris Nelson. It's really deep. Get ready to cry. Do you have your handkerchief ready, Peter, to dry your eyes for this emotional question?
Once again, sorry. Google Translate.
Handkerchief in case you get wet. All right, Chris Nelson says, hot dogs or spaghetti?
Hot dogs or spaghetti? No, spaghetti. Always. Like,
Easy. All right, cool.
I
Have you ever
appreciate both.
considered hot dogs in your spaghetti, though?
Next question.
Or
right,
what
cool.
about a spaghetti
Guys.
hot dog?
That's fine. Plead the fifth. He doesn't want to answer
Okay,
that.
that's
It's
all
kind
right,
of
it's understandable,
offensive.
but it's kind of
Yeah,
some things we don't like talking about anyways. We got to keep that private. But
All right, Corey.
Too
going
personal.
back, okay, let's go back a little bit since we talked about James a little bit. We wanted to make the show about you, Peter. Piotr Wiecek.
Oh,
man.
Spicy.
You know, I'm trying to get better at
Sounds
this
serious.
thing. I'm trying to get
Okay.
better at this. Every time Jared announces you, he announces you as the last guy to beat James, or there's this story that you beat James before. What's the story behind that?
I've heard that he's James's kryptonite, and he's kind of the only one.
Yeah.
That can
So what is
fight
it? Can you
James.
give us some knowledge on this story?
beating James. Maybe it was this guy, Peter Evans. Maybe it
Yeah,
was him.
your stunt
Sure.
double.
Is that part of the contract you guys have together? Is that you're not allowed to beat him, but Chris Evans, is that the guy, Captain America? He can beat him.
Chris. It was Chris.
Peter-
No,
Peter-
yeah. I don't know the guy, but yeah. I think that he will be capable of beating him. I don't know. He's tall enough.
Yeah. No, but I think that's a good question though. What does it take to beat James Deane? Because few people can ever claim to have beaten James Deane. He's as far as battle per battle, his winning percentage is extremely high, maybe the highest in FTE. I don't like to make claims that I can't back up, but like as far as the number of runs he's made to the number of runs he's won, I think it's probably the highest if I had to guess. But you have the ability to beat James. What does it take to beat James Deane?
First, you have to broke his car, and then you have to offend his family, and then maybe it will happen.
Okay.
That's easy.
Then I guess you have the ability to break his car, being that it's kind of your team. You can do whatever you want to him if you want to.
Just some small tweaks, like remove one of the half shafts.
I can't wait till make it a one tire fire like your lawnmower.
Exactly.
I like the idea that you and James are about to go up against each other at Irwindale for the championship this year, and you're like, you know what? Hold on a sec, James. Let me just make some minor adjustments to your car. And he's like, oh no, Peter, don't. And then he's like, no, dude, it'll be cool. Let me just see some stuff in your car, and then you just go over there and start unscrewing things. Like, all right, my brother, let's go do this. And he's like, oh, Peter, you got me again. And then you guys kiss
On the finish line together.
The end.
The end.
End scene.
That's exactly what happened. But no, I don't know what you mean actually. I always wish the best for James, and I'm always cheering him up.
Yeah.
And yeah.
No, but I mean, it's one of the.
I really love him. I really love him. Yeah. Especially when he win with me.
Yeah.
That's really awesome situation.
But I mean, it is a question that I have asked almost every guest since James won the championship in 2017 is how do you beat James Deane? Because that is the big question, because no one last year could touch him. So when in the off season and leading up to, and even today, like we're asking, like, how do you beat James Deane? Because he hasn't been at the top of the podium yet this year, which is kind of surprising. We had expected him to dominate right away again, but thankfully for everyone, it's a much more entertaining season because you're doing extremely well. We have Forsberg and Osmo back in the run, so we got these old timers up there with the young foreigners, and we're always just curious, what does it take to beat James Deane? I guess we've kind of seen it now happen. So I just was wondering if you had any secrets. I'm not going to tell anyone. If you want to keep it secret between me and you, we can ask all the users or all the listeners to take off their headphones if you just want to tell me privately.
Okay, can I trust you?
Yeah, okay. Everyone take off your headphones or shut off your car.
Yeah, I'm muting stream right now, so it's just be video, no audio, okay?
We'll be right back.
And go.
Go ahead, Peter.
Okay, so did you watch the Long Beach? You watched Long Beach.
Yep.
You watched Orlando. You also been in Orlando, yeah. So both times his car was broken, and that's the best, really.
So that's your trick. You've been breaking his car to make it win.
Wow.
Make him not win.
So the trick is to be his teammate.
I don't. Who?
Oh, Brian! Big balls just.
All right, abort the mission.
All right, you guys can put your headphones back on. All right, so now we have all the listeners back.
All right. Well,
Nobody has heard anything.
Nothing. It's fine. Nothing to hear here.
We're back.
Ooh, okay. Oh boy, that was a close one. All right.
I will never do it again.
What
Is James sitting?
Trusting us?
James sitting right off camera.
No. James is actually now on the gym. He's exercising. He's preparing himself for Atlanta.
That guy's 7 feet tall and 115 pounds when he's wet. How does that guy exercise? He's shaped like a fucking long hot dog.
Like a palmer.
Yeah. He has some from Polish sausage. I don't know.
Wait. What does that mean? He has some Polish sausage. Is he gonna have some before bed tonight?
Well, that's part of training.
Wow.
He's
All right.
full of sweat and fat.
Oh man. Let's talk about going into Atlanta before we get to our Instagram and other questions here. What you've now driven Atlanta at least one time before. What are you doing to prepare for the Atlanta track, which I think is a much different track than Orlando?
Yeah, definitely. There will be some adjustments for the car. We'll definitely put back the soft springs into the cars, and pretty much that's it. We maybe lower the cars a bit. It's hard to say about any different adjustments. Definitely different ratio for differential, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
How did you do at Atlanta last year?
Last year was tricky for me actually because during the whole Thursday practice I was managed to only drive once sitting on a passenger side with James because my car has constantly some issues. Then during the next day I managed to do like the 3 laps and then straight to the qualifying. So everything was really like fresh and new for me, and I think it's a good enough.
And then you qualified 11th. I'm looking right now. You qualified 11th, and then you beat Cameron Moore, and then you beat Mohan, and then you went up against Kristaps, and it looks like Kristaps took you out.
Yeah, exactly. That's what happened. The track is really technical. You really have to be careful, especially during the second transition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, second transition, because then there is an easy spot to actually for your opponent to get away, especially when you are chasing. So this is the crucial part about which I would like to pay attention during this event. But apart from that, it's just a thing for stars to feel comfortable in a car again, be comfortable with the track, and it's always hard to say because they can be like different conditions. I don't know how it will be with the weather, because last year was also like a tricky in that matter. Yeah. It was like raining in the beginning of the session before the qualification, I think, or after qualification, or I don't remember clearly how it was last year, but that was tricky. So we'll see. The cars are working great. Cars are back in great conditions, so we'll see. We'll have good feelings, and it's drifting. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, hopefully the weather behaves this year. Atlanta has been notoriously dry and then wet and then dry again. So hopefully we don't have to face any of that. Because there's nothing worse or more boring than drifting in the rain, in my opinion. But hopefully it's a clean track. Any other questions, boys, before we go to the grammars?
Yeah, actually, whose idea was it to build identical S15s? Or like somebody, like you wanted an S15 or Dean wanted one and just said, hey, let's just do two of them.
Yeah, the always idea was to have identical cars, so it will be easier on parts in case anything will be broken or like simply failed. We'll be sure that we
Spare
have
car.
enough parts for a replacement. We know that the only difference will be that James will be sitting on the right-hand side, I will be sitting on the left-hand side. And that was the biggest. That was the obvious thing that we know before the season. But during the practicing, during the during the development stage, we decided that it will be better to have the S chassis with us. And mainly it was. I would say that it was mainly like James's decision. And I really agree with that. It was a great choice, and I think I wouldn't change the chassis for anything else right now.
But why do you have to have the same livery?
Like exactly the same.
It's not the same.
I know.
the same.
There's a very minor like color difference. You are. I had a way to remember this. You are blue because the P. Oh no, yeah, no, I remember now. So the C is blue. You got more blue in your car because Piotr is like a sea otter, and sea otters are in the ocean. You've got more blue in your car.
Yep.
Is that right?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Do you have more red on your car?
Yeah, I have the Polish flag on the roof. You know.
No,
So
you have more
that's-
blue in your
that's
car, though.
all.
I was right, you goddamn asshole. You got blue on your hood. Dean has red on his hood.
On the roof.
Oh, you are confusing it really well, actually.
Oh, wait, no, Dean had the blue roof. You have the red.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was only looking at the
Yeah,
hood
now
because...
it's obvious. Now it's obvious.
Yeah, so I was
So
right.
I have
still.
more blue, but I have red, and
Mhm.
James has more red, but he's blue. Yeah?
Oh, so it's,
In James'
okay.
blue.
we're in the
No,
we're in the
you
same-
flipped it around. It still makes a lot more sense for me because you're the otter that lives in the ocean. James Dean, how could I even think about James Dean being blue?
James
James.
He always liked the song, I'm blue and things.
Oh, the blue Eiffel 65 song.
Who could forget? So back in the Formula Drift early days, they let you have a song for top 16 announcements, and you could choose what song to have. What song would you have for your top 16
Your intro
announcement?
song.
My top 16 announcement lies. Probably it will be the song after, the Kill Bill movie. Like,
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Yeah,
which one?
Exactly.
That one?
You know the song. Exactly.
The one?
That's-
What was that? Who is it? Was that you, Brian?
Yep, I could see that.
Everybody can see that.
There you go. What about Jared? Jared has tried to come up with a nickname for you. Do you like the Candyman?
Why not? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
okay.
I like ice creams.
It's because you're so sweet.
Aww.
You guys stop it. You
He's
two.
crying again. We've never had a guest cry this much on the show before. This
Where
is.
is the tissue? My whole t-shirt will be wet of tears.
Do you know what?
Yeah, are you ready
Let's get this one out of the
Instagram?
way. Let's just get this one out of the way. Your friend, your dear friend and partner James, reached out to us on our Instagram.
My partner. It sounds serious.
Your partner, your drifting compadre. That's a Spanish for drift partner. He posted on our Instagram saying, "When are you going to post your first Instagram post?"
you should just
There is a small case that I don't remember my password to my Instagram's actually account. But when I figure it out, I will do it as soon as possible. Believe me, it will be something probably very boring. And yeah. But it will be alive.
All right,
It will be
so
alive one day.
is that true? You just don't know your Instagram password? That's why you don't post on it?
Pretty much.
Oh my god, that is a really good reason. That's a
Yeah,
great
I
reason.
mean,
I appreciate that a lot.
Honesty.
Corey, should we tell him that you can just recover your password if you want to?
What?
Remember, they don't have the internet in Poland.
Oh,
It
that's
might
right,
be-
they
It
don't
might
have
be
the internet in
taking
Poland.
very
So
offensive.
They
if
didn't
we,
have an email, so back then we just enter a username. No email.
we need to
Okay.
send like a letter on an envelope.
Don't you know somebody at Instagram?
No.
You don't, Sam? Do you?
I know Jen Selter.
Okay. Sam, do you know anybody at Instagram to help our friend out? Our drift friend?
Yeah. Let me just call up
Tom Zucker nerd.
Mr. Graham. First,
Adam-
first
Adam
name
Zuckerman.
Insta.
Adam Lizard Zuckerberg. You can do it.
Yeah, we got you, buddy. We got you.
Yeah, we just called and they said you can have it
Awesome.
back.
So I'll have my
Alright.
Instagram, yeah?
100,000
they said that
followers by tomorrow.
the only thing was that for your first photo you had to post lemon party.
Or a bass
What is
flute.
this?
Do you know what that is?
That Google Translate actually know this.
Don't ask Google, please. Don't ask Google. Don't ask Google what lemon party is. I repeat.
So if you want it right before bed tonight, when you're like getting really comfortable, you lay down in your bed.
Okay. Oh, do you know what? Instagram just called back and they said you should have an email verification at your email at piotrw@meatspin.com. So if you check your email, you should be able to get into it.
How did you reach my email?
I think Mark Zuckernerds
He
called
knows
us back.
everything.
Yeah. So with that, you guys ready to hit him with the hard ones on the Instagram?
yeah.
questions? All right. So this is the part where we go out to the fans that posted on our Instagram. I know you have one, but you haven't seen it, but you have quite a few on there. And we're going to zing some questions at you and answer them however you like, my sweet my Polish friend.
Oh, it was cute.
I'm trying to be as
I
polite
have
as
a
possible.
I have
with
a
my dear
question
friend.
from Max Frolic.
Okay.
First time caller. He's asking, if you had $7,000, what would you buy / build as a first drift car?
As the first drift car.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Actually, now I fell in love with my Suzuki. Actually, not mine. It's Team Suzuki. It's a K-Track. It's a brilliant thing, and it's maybe not drifting well, but no, for 7,000. I'm always fussy about cars, you know. I'm always like I don't like to go easy, so I don't know. But for a first car, so you have the access for parts, and it will be enjoyable pleasure. It won't be like breaking constantly. Probably I'll build some BMW, but it's not a good way to start also, because when you stick with the BMW, you will be always with the BMW, and I don't know why I don't like BMWs. But also to give advice that starts with the Nissan is like the giving somebody, you know, a blade and said that he can, like, I don't know, play with his skin with it a bit, and it will help. It's very suicide action to start with a Nissan, but it's possible. Actually, when you have $7,000, it's a lot. Wait a second, $7,000 is a lot. I was constantly thinking about the Polish money. $7,000 is a lot, so we can swap the engine in the Nissan, and it will work then. Yeah. Swap the engine for like one JZ or something like that, something which is cheap. I don't know what's the price actually right now.
So
for
you could
one
pick
JZ,
up
but
you could pick up an S14 in the United States if it's kind of rough around the edges for maybe 3,000, 3,500 ish.
Depends.
So then
on
what
Like
part
even
of
if you got a
the-
shell for 1,500,
depends on
you
what
get
part of the country you're buying it from.
Well,
Really.
So here
definitely
locally,
S14.
so if you pick up a 1J, you can get a 1J for about I see anywhere 1,800 to 2,100, but then you have to get.
I know. Then they put it inside. It costs some labor.
You might
definitely.
be just over 7. I think it might be doable. A 1J and a S13. If you run the stock ECU, you may need a drive shaft.
Coilovers, seat.
Yeah, I would say maybe it won't be easy start, but if everything
You
will
could
be
do that
set
for a
properly,
7. Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to
It will
rough it.
be
You don't
a
need the
good
seat
and
right away.
enjoyable
Just
chassis.
rough it. Be a man. Grow a little testes. Here's a question from you. This is from Toge Culture Chris. What is Warthouse?
What is Warthouse? Warthouse is a metal roofing company. It's specialized in the for American market, it's a very new product because it's like roof tiles for residential houses. So it's not like metal roofs for like some kind of a big storage buildings, but for residential ones. Oh, she's cute, or it's him. It's him. It's her.
No, it's saying it's metal.
Metal one. Yeah,
Saw
it's
my
metal.
cat. He got excited.
Also,
I have a
Yeah,
question.
so it's a metal roofing. It's a new thing for American market, and I think that with time it will be really a great solution, and it's a great alternative for the shingles. The most popular covering for roofs in America.
I have a story about the only content that James Deane made me take out of the Driver on Driver episode. I had asked him if Wardhouse was an STD clinic, and he said no, they make roofs, and you should go jump off of one.
Typical James Deane.
Yeah, and then he's like, actually, that's not a good thing to have in the show. But I said it anyways, James. Fuck you.
Oh, he's gonna kick you right in your little penis, Sam.
Well, thank you to Wardhouse, honestly, for bringing you guys over and kicking all of our drivers' asses. So cool.
We're also very thankful and grateful, definitely.
Where's Worst House based out of?
It's in Chicago, right now in Chicago, but also like the second, we can say maybe not headquarters, but subsidiary is in creating now in Orlando, and probably the next target will be LA.
Oh, so it's an American company?
It's a Polish company.
Ah, well, so that's kind of. I
And
think
expanding.
that's where we were wanting. So it's actually a
Yeah.
Polish company. Okay.
So
Yeah,
I'm gonna sum this question up because it is a little long, but it's from our dear friend Richard Dinger, Hot Dog Flinger. He goes,
Classic.
"Yep. Do you find the competition in FDs harder than what you experience in Europe?"
It's a tough question, because it's always the matter of the opponent. All opponents are different, and it's hard to compare one to the other because both leagues are very hard. I would say the FD has a better reach in case of a like world kind of a fans. So it's more like well known in the world of drifting. But the European leagues are also like developing, and I think lots of European drivers are very, very compatible and very very great drivers. So you really have to experience it to ensure yourself that drifting in Europe is really on a high level also. So for me, there is no answer for that question because both leagues are different, and it's impossible to compare.
Okay.
So also, I want to go back in time a second because I thought that maybe I was crazy when Brian asked about Wardhouse, and I thought I heard Worst House, like bratwurst. But apparently the chat is blowing up too. They heard Worst House as well, which sounds pretty great. Worst House with polished sausages, right?
I'm a little hungry. It's probably why it slipped.
I mean, honestly, if the company, Peter, was Worst House, and if you made houses out of sausages, that would be an idea. Like, if you want to talk more about that after the show,
Yeah,
I mean,
I've got a lot of good ideas about that.
Yeah, great. It would be a great conversation, definitely.
he sounds so thrilled. I have a question from Bad Apple Motorsports. He's asking, number one, if you didn't compete on an S chassis, what would be your next option? And two, how many pierogies can you eat in one sitting? Asking for a Polish friend.
Like one sitting. What do you mean one sitting?
At once.
Like, how long could you?
At once. How many I can fit into my mouth? It's a different question.
I mean, just like if you sit at the table.
So let's say you have an hour and a half sitting
Yeah.
at a
Like a
table
good
for a dinner.
hour and a
right?
half.
And you're
lunch
not
break.
allowed to get up to go throw up or do anything. You have to sit there.
How many Pioge Wayne checks can you eat?
10 at least. I would say even 15 is possible.
15's doable.
15, what a
That's pretty
beast.
solid.
Yeah, it depends. It depends if they are stuff with the meat or with the mushrooms or
Always a
all
meat.
other stuff.
Always a meat.
Yeah,
Always a meat. So
course,
then 10 definitely.
Perfect.
That's
Corey,
not bad.
how many can you eat?
Probably 6.
6?
Yeah, I
Solid.
haven't trained that much in pierogies.
Pierogies, yeah.
So,
And if you couldn't drive an S chassis, what would be your next option?
Yeah, that was the core question.
The
Actually.
actual,
Uh,
the
so
bonus.
for me, it will be 370 because I experienced the chassis and I really like it. Maybe it has some issues, but if I would like to choose the next chassis, it will be Corvette C7. Yeah.
The Corvette
Everyone's hot in
C7.
the Corvettes.
That would be pretty badass.
Yeah, the C7 is really hard for me, and I like the chassis. I really would like to appear in the, let's say, fresh car, because like we all knew that the S chassis is a bit outdated. Let's say it would be nice to have a brand new chassis, but who knows?
But do you know what's funny? Hey, Peter, you might want to take your headsets off. But hey, Sam, don't you remember we talked about this? Hey, all these Europeaners are coming in and taking over our drifting.
They're taking
The
over the cars
idea
now.
was to put them in American cars to confuse the audience that they're Americans driving, and it's working.
Yeah.
So it's
totally
kind of
working.
weird how
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
coming together. Sorry, Peter,
Cool.
you put your headphones on. We just had some talked about dinner tonight.
So I can be back.
Yeah, you
I
can come
Yep.
out.
Okay.
Yep.
So what? This is actually a real question. What is Polish dinner? Like, what do you eat for food in the God's country? Like, what is good Polish food? I don't even know.
Yeah, naleśniki, so like pancakes.
Ooh,
I love żurek. It's like a soup with sausage, of course.
ooh.
That sounds delicious.
It's schabowy. It's like traditional thing. It's like Wiener Schnitzel. You know, I don't know if you know.
Oh, I know
but
all about schnitzel.
a lot better. Like it's only looks like the German thing. And what also is great. I love soups. I cannot. It's a bad question, you know. I'm
Yeah.
sitting here for like 2 months in the States and have enough of McDonald's
Yeah.
and all these fat and cheesy things. Sorry, guys. I really like the steaks, but the amount of like cheese and fat in every piece of actually even like small breakfast appetizers everywhere. It's impossible to be actually.
Do you like miseria? Miseria. I think
What's that?
it's like a cucumber yogurt soup.
What?
Cucumber yogurt soup.
Looks like a cold.
It tastes more like a dip, not like a soup.
Yeah. I mean, you could. I guess. Yeah. Use it as a dip.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, because it's, you know, in the Greek kitchen there is like a tzatziki.
Yep.
It's something
Uh-huh.
very close to that, like cucumber with yogurt and some garlic.
I'm salivating. Talking about all this food.
Well, Paco always loves cucumber yogurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, all over his face. This is questions from Adam Cocken. Which Mustang do you fear the most?
Which Mustang
Yeah.
fear the most?
And the options are
I should have some kind of a night, like a, what's the name for that? Nightmares, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
nightmares. Yeah.
They'll
is
run-
it Von Gittin Jr., Chelsea Denofa,
Justin Pollock.
JTP, or Sam in high school with his 1988 Fox body?
Oh,
Fog's body sounds serious.
it is.
But I don't know. The scary thing is if you imagine that you're standing in front of like this Vans or chassis, and you are just about to be run over, you know, and you should
Yep.
jump or you should like that. It's sometimes hard to know,
Yeah.
but yeah, and I like Mustangs. I would say JTPs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that car is so loud that I guess with a helmet on, at least you have some issues, some way to get away from it. But yeah, even when I have my earplugs in, it blows my eardrums out. I can only imagine chasing close behind him. It's got to be difficult.
Yeah, you're forgetting about your own engine noise, definitely. But it's enjoyable, you know. It's very good to competing with such a great looking chassis, with such a great cars in general. Because when you look at the grid right now, you know, you can see that there is like you can have like a competition between Corolla and Ferrari. It sounds like super impressive, and I love it about drifting, and I cannot wait what the 2019 even brings.
Here's a question from the Taco Bell fan 42069.
That's a good guy.
Where are we going to hold the dance competition after Formula Drift Atlanta? Or Atlanta? Where are we dancing? Okay. Okay. Taco Bell fan. Maybe next time don't ask such an inappropriate question.
Dancing is it's totally banned in this
text me where you're
environment.
Just text
Oh,
him.
that is right. I forgot that Atlanta does have that ban
A
on
dancing rule,
Mhm.
yeah. So just text Sam where you're
Yeah,
gonna dance.
exactly. That's bad.
If you want to text Sam where you're gonna dance.
You
at
can't
Atlanta.
dance or hold hands
Alright.
in the
Text me where you're
Atlanta.
gonna dance. I can dance with you. We can have a dance
Alright,
off.
this
I got
is-
some moves.
This is one of my last ones here. This is from SR Chava 90. Pantene, Head and Shoulders, or Herbal Essence. What shampoo do you use?
Good
Those
question.
curls, yeah.
Once again, what's the choice?
Okay, so here we
Pantene
Head and
hair-
Shoulders.
or herbal essences.
He wants to know how to get golden curls like you. Like your hair is magnificent. What product?
Shampoo.
It's a very good question, actually. You always need to aim for like this one which grows,
Edgy. Yeah.
which pops out with so you can have like the fluffy feeling,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So it's very tricky. I always combine two of them, so to have the best mixture, and it's the really issue of ratio, and it's complicated. I don't want to bore you guys, so I think I will read a recipe for that, and you can add it to your to your show, to your Driftcast, yeah. However, now you can call it. I don't know. It will be probably like a haircast.
Maximum hair cast.
That's a good new show, new segment we've been doing. You could be our hair correspondent.
Hair respondent.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
Actually, so he actually just texted me and he says the trick is butter. I guess you
use
just put a lot of
butter
butter in
as
your hair
a-
in the morning. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys heard that first. This is a good question from looks like Dark Lord Sauron. Why did you and Frodo Dean have to throw my one ring into the fires of Mount Mordor?
Oh my God! I think I didn't watch this movie.
Okay, that's fine.
Move on.
So, but let's say it was an accident, and we were simply after an event, and we are having a
Mr.
fun.
Peters.
Yep.
Mr. Peter.
What? That's a good impression.
it?
I don't think Paco's seen Lord of the Rings either.
Of course, I mean, okay.
My precious.
Oh my God, what was that?
That was
don't know.
that was Smeagol himself.
I like so obviously there's the questions about Peter being similar in appearance to the Peter guy from American Horror Story, but I like Mike V. Slater's question, or Mike V. Skater's. When is the next season of Stranger Things coming out? Unrelated whatsoever, but do you know when the next season of Stranger Things is coming out?
No. Actually,
right, cool.
I don't know. I don't know anything about this Hollywood
Really?
pile of. I don't want to even call it because they don't even come close to me, and I'm really annoyed about this. I'm giving up. Thank you, guys.
Oh,
Oh,
he's
well,
gone.
Thank you, Peter. Have a good
Rough.
night.
Oh, that was
Wow, that
okay.
was really.
Oh, he's
He's
back.
back. Oof.
Well,
Do you,
I think
do you like
I
American?
have my heart moment now. So
Yeah, we got. Do you watch any American media or Netflix or Hulu? Like, what do you watch for fun, or what do you even do for? Do you have fun?
No.
No. Okay.
Too busy being a pro driver.
yeah, just don't worry about.
I think
fun.
he's also.
I only heard actually that your show is pretty big, pretty long. So in case of a fun, I bring my urinal with me.
What is that?
It's my urinal. It will hold.
Oh, it's
my
his urinal. He lays his.
Because I was trying to go to the toilet, but it's hard.
Are you? Just put it. Oh my God.
Here.
Are those molded after James Deane's hands?
So no, well, it is. It is. So when he goes to sleep at night, he always has his hands to hold, no matter where he's at in the world.
Just put on his hand. And,
Exactly. I just put my butt into them.
Push your butt into him.
Oh, it's funny that you have that. We actually have a bass flute.
Do you know what a bass
And
flute
those
is?
two would go well together.
So we know in Poland, music is huge.
You guys like?
You guys love music, right?
Yeah, we love.
yeah, if I'm not mistaken,
So we have one of the oldest Polish flutes we can get our hands on. It's actually to ward off evil spirits, but it also makes beautiful music. Do you want to see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, here, let me show you.
Corey, for people who
Let me. I have it locked up over here. I have to open it. I have to
dangerous.
type in a code and stuff.
I'm gonna
It's pretty-
switch away so nobody
Yeah, let
sees
me.
the
So I
code.
don't want somebody to see the code.
It's very magical. There's a lot of spells on the box to
You can
keep
go ahead and
it.
show them now the bass flute. See, you play up here,
yeah,
and then the flute. You just go in there, and
it makes a very magical, deep sound.
Yeah.
Paco is actually the only one that can play it really well.
I'm
So
a-
Paco, if you don't mind.
I can only do it with the lights out.
Actually, the problem is that we usually try not to play it
Well,
on the
no,
show because it
but-
gets.
You can get demonetized, banned from
I'm
YouTube.
not sure if this is the actually instrument, and where you should. I don't know how to ask this question.
Yeah,
your
no.
best.
It usually kind of keeps people.
The
It
bass flute
confuses
really
them a little bit.
baffles people.
Yeah, it is. So this is a pretty common response we get by it. So it's okay.
You should have
man.
seen trying to get this thing through the TSA at the airport.
Yeah, Paul got to stick it up his butt to sneak it onto the airplane.
Also, one thing, Peter, you might want to.
What
And it was
were you
still
playing
whistling.
then when it was sticking out?
Peter, you might also want to get a pregnancy test because you might be pregnant now. You've seen the bass
After
flute.
seeing this.
Sorry,
We
sorry,
got-
dude.
Well,
Any other
no,
questions?
that's it. I
shouldn't
think
have- it's serious.
I think we should let our new friend, our Swedish Polish friend, get some rest. He has a big day coming up, but we.
What are you doing up until practice on Thursday? You got all Wednesday to play. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'll be playing probably with James. We have a cute game together.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
What are the rules? What's your game?
No, it's our private thing.
Oh.
No.
Awesome.
We're invading their privacy so hard right now, man.
Sorry,
I
I'm
feel
sure
bad.
James is waiting. He's got to be very upset.
All right, Peter. Thank you for giving us so much of your time tonight. We are glad to
Yeah.
meet you on a personal level, get more about you, and look forward to seeing you and spending some time with you in Atlanta.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was a pleasure for me also. It was, I tried to be kind, and it was great.
Oh, you were
James,
great.
Thanks, James, for letting us talk to him a couple hours. I know
Yeah,
that's-
Thank you, James. Thank you, James. Thank you a lot.
Thanks,
a
James.
million, James, that you actually allow me to do it.
It can be a real handful sometimes, but what are you gonna do?
All right.
All right, buddy. Well, you
Yeah.
guys have a good night, and we'll see you in a couple days in
You
Atlanta.
too, guys. Have a good night. Thank you once again. Take
Thank
care.
you.
See you in Atlanta.
All right. Good luck,
Yeah.
buddy. We'll see you.
All right, later, buddy.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
There you
Hold
go.
on, still on the line? Is he gone?
I think it
Yeah,
is.
he's gone.
He's I think I've always known that James Deane was a bit of a troll, but little did I know he was that much of a troll.
Yep.
He really, no joke. He has such a straight face. He's like, yeah, Peter, because I haven't really spoken to Peter that much. He's like, yeah, Peter's not so good with words and he won't understand. And then of course he doesn't have a cell phone, and of course he doesn't have internet in Poland.
Or Instagram.
Well, I mean, Instagram is true. I think the cell phone thing might be kind of true, even though I called him on one. But I think it's probably a burner that James
Right.
got him just for this occasion.
Threw it away.
Yeah,
It went
But,
pretty good. I mean, actually, he did a lot better than James. So
yeah. James was pretty bad actually.
yeah, it's
so.
terrible. It's one of our
I'd
most
say I like-
boring
I'd say I
episodes.
like him a lot better than James.
Yeah, well, yeah, and his driving's definitely showing it's outperforming
Yeah.
James. I just, what is James going to be doing? Next year. Once he takes off, Peter takes off. What is James going to be doing?
That's
You
it.
know?
It's fucking. I don't know.
He's gonna have to latch on to someone else.
Right?
That's up
Who's
the
he going
right-
to latch onto next?
You?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
fine.
was saying,
I'll
like,
do
I mean,
it. I'll
Would
do
you let
something
him be
with
your teammate?
Yeah, no, I'll let him be my crew chief. I know he knows his stuff. He seems like a nice guy.
That's
you know what I mean?
that's a nice position that doesn't
Yeah.
doesn't say you're a washed up driver. When you're a
No,
crew
no, no,
chief,
no.
you're just still
Yeah,
part of it.
You're
Yeah.
an influencer in the sport.
Exactly.
You're the guy that's yelling all the time. I think that'd be a good spot for him in the future.
Good old James.
Yep. So we'll see what happens to Peter here this year.
Peter,
and-
he wasn't very phased about the bass flute. I think it wasn't his first
no.
experience.
Well, I've been warning him about it. I've been sending him little teaser shots, like
Okay,
some really tasteful macro shots, like just the details. for the past few days via James
Nice.
Deane, of course, because that's the only way I can talk to him.
Nice.
Right.
Well, good job, Sam.
We got to make just one more quick call, actually.
Yeah, so we're
let's
doing
get that going.
something super duper special here in Hot Lanty,
Let's see
and
who can get
we
him.
have someone to discuss it with us as we call him.
Let's make a phone call. Make a phone call. Brian's
Du-du-du.
working on
Uh-oh.
Skype.
I got it. Is
Hold on, let me
Sam,
turn off
Sam.
my
Oh, wait.
other thing.
I already heard something
he's talking.
mustachioed.
You got video, mustache man?
Oh, hold on. Let's see what's happening.
No, he's dead. All right, he's dead.
Oh, God.
Anyways, looks like we're not doing anything for
How about
him.
now?
Oh, cool.
Oh,
There
there
he
we go.
is.
Oh, hey! Look at
You
There's
certainly
the
don't look
man.
like you've been drinking beer and wine all day.
look at that stud.
Hey,
Oh, there you go. Got some. I thought you were wearing.
just a little bit.
Yeah, that's good. You look sharp, man. It looks like you just had a big day.
Not too bad. Not too bad at all. And it's only like 12:15 at night, no big deal. I've been waiting all day long for you guys, and I guess I'm finally getting the opportunity to get on. Some Polish guy just happened to take my spot, so
Yeah,
no big deal.
we tried rushing him off as early as we can because we did an announcement that you were going to be on the show, so we tried punting him, but he just
he took up
couldn't.
2 hours of our
He
time, but
was-
now thankfully
yeah.
we've got another 2 hours for you. Let's get started.
I mean, he left.
All right.
He left,
We're
but
speaking-
unfortunately, he came back. So
Yeah, we're speaking with Brooks Church. He invented the cartwheel. So tell me what do you why did you do that one day? You're the first person to spin on your hands.
You know, I got tired of trying to find a way to go from walking to a handstand. I figured that was the easiest way to do it, and
Right.
just over-rotated. And guess what? I'm awesome. It just happens.
Fascinating.
Boom.
Fascinating. And then I guess your second achievement is that you've I don't want to say you're a founder of the Rowdies, right?
Actually, no, I'm not a founder. I just happen to be a
The face, the
honored
voice.
guest and now a unofficial party correspondent.
Okay, so you're party correspondent for Team Rowdy. Team Rowdy, you guys have probably seen, if you've not been living under a stupid rock for the past decade and a half-ish, I don't know. There's some rowdy guys at Atlanta, and they usually make signs, and they throw beer cans at Vaughn and say, "Fuck you, Vaughn, you idiot." And like Vaughn's like, "Hey, guys, take it easy." And they're like, "No, we're Team Rowdy. Eat shit and die." And like, I don't think that's cool, honestly. But anyways, we're supporting you. And you're supporting us. But yeah, none of that's real, by the way. They're the nice guys. But they do party at Atlanta, and you may have seen some of their signs in the past. They are known for making very creative drift-related signs. So our favorite one from last year, we decided was "Fight Me, Pat Gooden."
that was a very good one.
And you guys have also
That was
been doing your
My
own.
second favorite.
What's your first favorite?
Oh, my first favorite was the one that says Chelsea is a girl's name.
That's another great sign. Yeah, I forgot about that one. That's another sign.
But you guys also do like live qualifying scores. You guys kind of decide what you think the people have gotten. But anyways, you're a staple of Form the Drift Atlanta, and we're going to be hanging out with Team Rowdy at Form the Drift Atlanta, and we're also doing a contest with AEM intakes to give away an intake system package system to the winner of this contest that we're going to judge. And the contest is to make Rowdy style drift signs. So you can't do Fight Me, Pat Gooden. You can't do anything that you've seen them do in the years past. And we're going to, of course, post about this on Instagram shortly or tomorrow with some examples. But we want you guys, whether you're at Atlanta or at home, we don't care. We want you to make a sign, get rowdy, show us in your photo, not just a sign, hopefully. We want to see you. We want to see you getting rowdy, even if it's on your couch at home. Like, pop your shirt off, drink a few beers, maybe snort some nose candy off of your sign. No, don't do that.
Or a bass flute.
Basically, yeah. So get rowdy, essentially, and make an awesome sign, and you're going to win an AEM intake. It's that simple. And you want to post a picture, and we're going to, of course, say all this on Instagram as well. You're going to post your picture and hashtag AEM Rowdy Cast. And that's how you enter to win. We're going to be posting all of our favorite signs up throughout the day on Saturday. And anything else, Corey? or Brooks?
So me and Paco are making an example of signs that you might be able.
Oh,
to
this
see.
ought to be good.
So we this is Paco. Can you give me a hand here since I only have two?
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Well, that Peter dude just gave you guys a whole bunch of firepower with his last ramblings of conversation. So hopefully you guys come up with something good with that.
Yeah, I mean, we. I didn't want to make. I think it's rude to make illusions
hold on one
that
sec.
James Deane and Peter.
So this
make
is one of our first signs we made. It's actually a math equation. It's 8 equals D, and this is the famous Albert Einstein equation.
Or it could be. Hold on, no, those are the scores for.
Yeah.
For qualifying.
So
Is it 11?
Osbo gets an 8, and this is 11.
11.
Who gets 11? Jeff Jones gets an
That's
11.
a double negative. That is not an 11. That's a double negative.
And then
Sir.
June Main gets 2 zeros.
Oh, June.
You know what? I need somebody to take one of these Mustangs and run over somebody else again. It's been a long
Sorry.
time since we've had something cool like that happen. So
yeah.
let's find a way to make that happen.
So
But,
with this contest, Sam, I don't know if you mentioned this already. Did you tell them the official hashtag?
AM Rowdycast.
So if
And,
you create a sign, if you're at home, if you're at the event, if you're near the Team Rowdy party section, which is off to the right of the announcer's
Off the right from where? You can't just say off to the right.
from track side, off to the right.
It is skiers left. It is drivers left.
You won't be able to miss
the
it.
official Rowdy
Yeah, you'll see it.
maximum cast thing. Anyways, to the left of the halftime show where you'll see Sam's gray peacock hair going in the distance over there. So
That's right. It's a gentleman's right from the track. Gentleman's south. That doesn't mean anything.
what?
I don't know, man. Whatever. I don't care anymore. Just kidding. No, I'm so excited. I've never been invited to your cool elite party. I've never been handsome enough. I've never been smart enough. And this year,
Well, of course, anybody who asks, we're going to have a ridiculous amount of Rowdy stickers to give out. You'll see us there the whole weekend long. You see any of us at all, make sure you give us a high five, talk to us a little bit, tell us a little bit about your story. If you've seen us in the past, if we've inspired you in any way, probably not. Or if you've gotten some awesome jail time because of us or trying to recreate what we've done. If you can actually make Andy Luck as mad as we have, I'll give you a serious high five and a beer for that one.
and that is honestly so. This contest is not because we like giving away free intakes. We're doing it because we want to bring the party back to Atlanta. Not that it ever went away, but we think that we can still party harder than we've ever partied before. And slight disclaimer: do be about as tasteful as we are in this show with signs, and that is a dubious thing to say because we're sometimes not tasteful in the show. But don't be too crass, of course. Don't say anything that'll get you kicked out of the event. We don't want that to happen. Nothing racist, nothing sexist, nothing your mom wouldn't. Nothing you show your mom wouldn't show your mom. I should say.
Within
So-
good taste.
Yeah, within good taste. So we want to see some cool shit, some weird shit. But
Yeah.
you guys be the judge. Don't get kicked out. Don't make your mom.
It doesn't
unproud
have
of
to
you.
just be one sign. It can be multiple signs. It could be a whole
Yeah.
group of people surrounding with weird hot dog costumes and a bunch of signs attached to them. Get creative. Have some fun. Show us how you guys Rowdy.
My goal is that at the end of the weekend, you are a divorced man.
What? Why you want to have sex with him?
Paco, don't hit on him.
You don't
He
need
just
to,
got married. Now you're trying to slip in.
well, you don't need to do that. I mean, being married or not. I mean, I don't know.
Brooks,
All right,
don't sleep with him.
Yeah, proceed with your joke, guys.
Brooks, don't throw it away. You got a good thing going, and Paco's not worth it. He's a good lay once, maybe twice, but after that he gets too needy.
I can see that. I
I'm
can see
clingy.
that. Starts doofing it up and going from there.
All right.
Pretty
Well, Brooks, anything else before we send you off into the night and then see you in like 48 hours, 72 hours at Atlanta?
No, I just can't wait to see all you guys. Have some damn good times, and we'll see you guys soon.
We're
Sounds good,
already
man.
partying here, bro. Like we started earlier.
Thanks for inviting us to your cool.
Hey,
We're gonna get ready and we're gonna get rowdy, and hope you guys do. And we'll post more details about that on the grams leading up to the event. So thanks, Brooks, and you have a
Team
great
Rowdy.
day tonight. We'll see you
guys
soon.
around.
see you guys soon. Take care. Have fun.
Later, brother.
Bye. Is he gone? Is he gone?
No. Still staring. His mustache looking right at me. So yeah, that's exciting. Yeah,
That's gotta
I'm
be
gonna
fun.
make,
It's gotta be fun.
I'm gonna make a sign, and I'm gonna win this, and it's gonna be hilarious.
I don't think you can make like you can't participate on the contest. You're gonna be a judge for the signs.
once you see my sign, you're gonna just agree that I
The
win.
thing is, we can have rotating judges. So if you wanted to participate, it would be Sam, myself, and Brooks judging your sign. So we can
Don't judge me.
rotate. We can rotate judges to make this work for everybody.
The rowdy guys are gonna help us decide. I think when the winner shows himself, I think it'll be pretty obvious. But the rowdy boys are gonna help us decide who wins, of course. And yeah, we're excited to see your entries. And of course, don't hesitate to still join if you're watching from home. We still want to see what you can come up with. Ideally, it's better than just writing something on a piece of paper like these minimum effort assholes in the Maximum Driftcast studio we're doing. Like, we'd like to see some poster board and some art. But
Oh yeah,
you do you.
Get
You do you.
creative.
I think we actually. I don't want to confirm this or not, but I think we were talking to AM the other night, and we might actually have some sign making materials at the AM tent at Atlanta. But that's not verified yet. We'll let you know if that's true.
And lastly, to wrap this all up, we are also going to be talking about Hyperfest, as that is going to be right around the corner. Our dear friend and judge Brian Egbert helps run an event, Hyperfest, which is definitely one of the most craziest events I've ever been to. We'll be giving away 2 free tickets this week out to Hyperfest. We actually have a total of 4, but we're going to break it up in 2 different segments. So you'll see 2 separate giveaways on our Instagram. So stay up to date with that. If you're planning or wanting to go out to Hyperfest, we'll have some tickets and giveaways for you there. Also, we have our content creators going to be out there at Atlanta with us. We'll be producing a bunch of content for you guys on Instagram, like Kyle Cross and Aaron and a couple other people, so you guys will be able to stay that. But big thanks. Stay up to date with us on social media. Maximum Driftcast. You have Tofu, Drift Van, Paco, Corey House, and myself, and then Drift Idiot Sam. We'll be heading out to Atlanta Friday morning covering the event, and then we'll be talking about Hyperfest and Grid Life and all these other cool things coming up. So it's going to be
Corey,
a busy
are
freaking
you
month.
gonna come to our halftime show this time? I know you had a bikini swimsuit modeling competition you had to judge last time. Are you going to be there this time?
Yeah, I'll be there. I had to get a new set of underwear. You guys know I only have 2 sets of underwear, and I had to bury one
You have
last
to double
week.
wrap.
Yeah, I had to bury one last night, so I spent the time picking up a new fresh set, so I'll be ready to go.
Sick. All right. Well, I'm excited about that. I'm excited to sleep in a bed with you. We got 1 bed for the 3 of us.
Yep.
It's going to be fun.
Yep.
Can I be in the middle?
Oh,
Just so I can annoy you both with my snoring.
I thought you were gonna wake us up skiing.
No,
I literally had to sleep with my headphones on. These very headphones, my noise canceling ones,
Dude,
and
that
play like calming ambient music.
I seriously
because-
I woke up in the middle of the night because you actually snored a little bit, but I
You
turned,
snored.
Yeah, no, but wait, but I turned to see you and I saw you had your headphones on, and I immediately felt so bad. I was like, I'm not gonna say
I did-
anything.
I don't know if you guys noticed during the halftime show, I was a little bit sleepy because someone was waking me up every hour on the hour or more. Because it's not a gentle snoring.
I have
And I'm
like
not
an
trying to make you
apnea.
feel bad, Paco. It sounds like
Like-
you don't breathe for 40 seconds and then you
Yeah.
choke on a wet hamster.
That's exactly how it happens.
We have an Airbnb this time on a lake, so we're just gonna have you go take a little.
We're gonna actually, when Paco's sleeping, if he does sleep with the snoring, we're gonna actually put a bucket on his feet, pour concrete in, and feed him to the gators.
Or I can just like sleep in the convertible Mustang. What?
Yeah.
Should we get a convertible Mustang?
Yeah.
I think we got it for Atlanta. Yeah, that's right.
Oh my god!
So I'm not bringing any shirts this round. So
That's a good idea. You're just gonna be waffle bellying the whole time.
Yeah, I'm gonna let my tits fly, boys. We're gonna go out there and air them out finally.
It's on.
Yep. But anyways, guys, thanks again for tuning in to Maximum Driftcast. We will be seeing you guys all at Formula Drift Atlanta.
Thanks for our Patreons.
Thank you, our Patreons. Thank
Thanks,
you,
Motegi
AM
Racing.
Intags. Thank you, Motegi Racing. Once again, check out their Instagram for the product and wheel giveaway we have coming up. Tag 3 friends, McLeod Clutches, and Nex and Tire, the Infera Club. Check those guys out. They're a huge supporter of us, and we got a bunch of cool stuff coming up with them with the Nex and
Still a
Tire
bunch
and
of cute stuff.
bunch of cute stuff, But anyways, guys, thanks again for tuning in. We will see you this weekend.
Have a good night, Sam. Have a good night, everybody.
See you next Tuesday, Paco.
Next Monday, Tuesday.
Sam, shut the. We're trying to close out the show. Just shut. You can't be.
Say the-
No,
just
you
say the
can't
end.
be quiet for once, Sam. Just shut up as we close the show out, okay?
The end.
My precious.
No,